What's going on, folks? Thank you for joining us today on a new day, a new show. We're going to start something off here a little different today. We're going to do a show called Mindset Ready Grow. And joining me today is my co-host Rob House. Him and I are talked about this for a little bit and said, man, this would be awesome to do. And the focus of the show is really just to kind of be an outlet for folks that they can share and they can talk to us, or we can just kind of really give our input of our years of experience in business building. As you can see, my brother's shirt here says 1 billion healthy. He's all about that healthy is the new wealthy, and just trying to stay physically, mentally, spiritually fit. And we've done a lot of things over the years, working together, working independently, working with other professionals, business owners, life coaches, therapists, you name it, in a large gamut of activities. And we're taking that experience and we want to share that with you. We want to give that knowledge to you. And really, it's just about reconditioning and reestablishing that mindset to get you ready to grow. And I'm going to pass it over to my co-host, Rob House, and let him share a little bit about his take on the show.
You know, the mind is the most important thing that we have.
Yeah.
It directs our steps. It allows us to beat addictions or get caught up in them. It helps. It's a catalyst for change. Every decision in life comes through the mind. No matter who you are, white, black, or who you voted for, Trump or not Trump, the mind. And if this thing isn't together, you're going to be going in the wrong direction, or you're going to be going in a direction that you're unaware of. And so mindset ready grow is getting your mindset. And by doing that, you'll be ready to grow. This is the whole, so it kind of comes together. If you get your mindset, you'll be ready to grow. And that's what we're going to be talking about.
Exactly. A changed mind can change the world. So stay tuned. Tell a friend that that we're going live right now. Mindset Ready Grow, ready to change the world. Again, share out, tell folks, the show's about to begin. I love that intro, man. That's for who did that, but they did a good job.
I'm telling you, I feel like I just came in on a rocket ship when I came in
yes,
here.
Sir. Ready to rock and roll, man. So we were talking earlier, and we were talking about the topic for today, and I wanted to share that right now. It's really just kind of growing pains is what we came up with, overcoming the pain that comes with growth. And the way that got established, folks watching at home, is again, like I said, me and Mr. House have had a lot of businesses. We've done a lot of things, and they don't always come easy. And especially when you first start off, they could be really challenging. Just even making sure that, is this the right thing to do at this time? A lot of folks are balancing work, life, family, kids, and so on and forth. And it's very challenging to try to bring all those things to congruency. And so it can be painful sometimes. And then sometimes, success doesn't come immediately, and it's hard and it hurts. And sometimes it takes some money out that bank account that you've been counting on, or just getting a lot of no's thrown at you can be hurtful. So we want to talk a little bit more about overcoming those pains and other pains. And if you guys want to get into the chats, make sure you drop your comments in the chats. We're going to be responding to those, any questions that you may have. And I'm going to kick it over to Mr. Rob House. And let's start with that one that you picked up earlier. You said, what are some of the obstacles that are keeping you from achieving your best life? And we want to talk about that. If you guys have any feedback, this is going to be the first question we want you guys to respond to. So send those answers in your comments, and we'll look at those, and we'll get back to those later on in the show. But go ahead, Mr. House. Take it from here.
So put that up one more time.
Yes, sir.
And so what are some of the obstacles that are keeping you from achieving your best life? If this was a game of Family Feud, if this was Family Feud, it would be number one answer, bing, 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 distractions. That's the number one obstacle. Distractions. Number one in every category. You are being distracted because it's the distractions that keeps you from, number one, doing what you said you were going to do. Number two, even figuring out what you're going to do, because, and the reason for distractions is we have a lot of impulses. We have social media. We have responsibilities. It's not necessarily our fault. It's just there's a lot of stimuli. There's a lot going on. And we're answering this message, and then we're doing this, and we think we're multitasking, but multitasking is really just focused suicide. And so if we could find a way to limit our distractions.
Focus suicide. That's good stuff right there.
And we got to focus. It's important. Anything you want to do, you want to achieve, it's going to take sustained focus. And if you are seriously having your focus broken, here's a good analogy. If you leave the house and you're going from your house to Starbucks, let's just say, leaving your house to Starbucks. Let's say you're going, no, let's say grandma's house, okay? From your house to grandma's house, all right? And so it's only a mile, but you leave your house and instead of going to grandma's, you turn left to go to 7-Eleven. And then you leave 7-Eleven, you stop over at the woods. Then you leave the woods and you stop. And so your destination is now broken up.
Yeah.
You just lost focus.
Yeah.
You get to grandma's house if you just leave and go to grandma's house. So that's easy to say. We can talk about the do because that's the how. Now, figuring out how to do that, we can talk about that later. But I would say number one thing is distractions, man.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen in the comments, we got somebody that said no money. And, hey, I definitely understand that. I always have, there's always a need and there's not always the resources to provide for that need.
Yep.
As human beings, we can dream big, but it's not always possible for us to build those dreams overnight. And so sometimes it just takes time, and more so than focusing on what you don't have, you can focus and shift your focus on what you do have. The other day, Rob was talking with me and he shared a little video. He was writing some stuff down like on a vision board saying, here's my goals and these are the things I want to focus on. And what's really good about that is taking the inventory of where you are at the moment. What do you have? What is it that you already have accomplished? And then it says you can fill in the missing pieces. Say, you know what, I got to get to here, but what does that take? Well, that might take some funding. Can I get funding today? No, but I might be able to do this thing. That's going to get me a little funding that I can then divert to here. Setting some realistic timelines just to kind of illustrate that a little further. If I came to you today and I said, here's a seed, it's an apple seed, one seed, you might throw that seed away, say, what the heck am I going to do with one seed, right? But if you take that seed and you just give it some time, a little bit of sunlight and some water, eventually it's going to grow into a tree. But you can't be anxious the first time it starts to grow up and you see one little apple. Don't take that apple off. You got to let it continue to grow to mature until it's strong enough to hold the weight of you taking that fruit from it.
That's it.
After a couple of years, you can pull it away and the tree's still going to have life and it's still going to sustain. It has built its own strength and has developed such a good foundation that it's going to stand.
Yeah.
You take those seeds now and crack those open, and each apple now has 4, 5, 6 seeds in it. You can multiply that again, and over time now you got an orchard.
That's how humanity has expanded.
Yeah.
That's how we expanded. As our when we were farming, and that's how we did this thing. We found a way that, oh, wait a minute, we can plant. And when we started farming and planting, that's how we began to spread and how humanity actually expanded in size because we were able to eat more.
And we were safe. And so when safety came, we got bored. And so what we did was we came together and we made love with each other and we had more babies because we had safety and our kids weren't getting slaughtered and we weren't worried about an attack. We weren't on the run. We got comfortable. So we had more children. And so we multiplied and grew. But it just took that time, and
it's good.
Exactly. So somebody comment came in and said, focus on what we do have. Exactly right. Focus on what we do have. We want to throw up another question. So if you guys have any comments, make sure you throw those in the comment section, but ask questions too. As we're going through this, we want to answer your questions. We want to target exactly what your needs might be. What steps do you take to clear your mind? That's very key. Because those distractions come up and it's kind of like cleaning your house. You can just be hanging out doing not much of anything, but dust will accumulate over time. It's just going to happen. It's going to build up. You get laundry, you get these things as you go along. You eat food, there's going to be garbage that builds up.
Man,
it's a natural byproduct. So how do you clean those things out? How do you clean those things out of your mind?
Oh my goodness. Number one answer. Here we go. We're back on Family Feud, ladies and gentlemen. Bing, 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 bing. Stillness. Stillness is how you clear your mind. Here's the facts. The human mind carries about 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. So imagine the mind, okay, like a highway. And think about 60 to 70,000 cars on the highway of your mind. And each car, one's honking a horn, some got babies in them crying, somebody smoking cigarettes in the other one's crashing. It's all over the place, right? That's your mind. That's every day. What stillness does, it removes the cars from the highway. Now imagine the state with a clear mind, and imagine the state on a highway with cars everywhere. It's the same thing. And so you creating the stillness by going for a walk. I'm in a closet right now. Okay, this is a closet. I have my getaway place right here. Find your place to where you can get still. And all stillness is, you don't have to go to the top of the Himalayan mountains. If you want to do that, that's fine. But you can literally just chill. Just chill.
There you go.
Uh,
Uh-oh.
baby. For real.
For
Then
real.
if you do that, if you chill, if you just chill, what you'll do is take those deep breaths, 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. You've immediately reset your nervous system. You've calmed yourself. Your perspective is ready.
Yeah.
And now you can make a decision. And so focus comes from being still, and then moving. What happens is we think we just move. We got things we have to do. We got to act. We're reacting all day. Got to create the stillness that gives you your power and then move with clarity.
You know, I tell you something. This COVID thing, this pandemic hit the whole planet, right? And so everybody had to adjust to that. Everybody was impacted. I don't care who you are, rich, poor, famous, it doesn't matter. And what you found now a year later into this, a lot of folks have had to be home, and you can see like maybe in their social feeds or whatever, hey, I bonded with my family more. I connected with my children more. You know, we're working so much, and kids were just there. They picked them up from daycare, came home, put them to bed, but there wasn't like real time together. And what that fruit came from, as you're talking about, that stillness, this time just at home, things stripped away from you, all these distractions of, I'm going to the gym today, I'm going to go here, I'm going to go do this, I'm going to play basketball, I'm going to do all these things. You fill your life with all these activities, so you're not bored,
Mm-hmm.
but you're missing out on life. And so
Yep.
when we had those things stripped away from us, and we kind of got like on timeout, when your kids got in trouble, you say go to your room or
Yeah.
something and think about what you've done. And that's how the character was developed, in that alone time. We stopped taking alone time when we get to be adults. We always got something trying to fill our day, TV, again, social activities or whatever it is, and we're not making that time to just be alone, to reflect and to think. And so
Mm-hmm.
even if we still a moment, it takes a while to kind of shift from where you've been and all the hustle and bustle to that space. And you can't do that in 30 minutes. You just got in there, you're like, oh, kids are calling, or I got to get this done. And so we barely have time.
Yeah.
I live right now in South Carolina, close to Myrtle Beach, and there's people that flock here every year, and they didn't stop even with the pandemic; they just came out. But you can go to the beach right now today. It's in March, and it was like 75 degrees today, and people were at the beach, full pack, because they go there because that's the place where they can just find that stillness, that moment to still away,
Mm-hmm.
and it recycles and regenerates
Yeah.
and
Oh my goodness. The
and they
best.
don't see the value of that when they go back home, how they can still take those moments. They
Come
want
on.
to get to that little week of vacation, but what are you doing the other
Right.
51
How do
days
you
of
take
the
the
year?
ocean with you? Uh-huh.
Yeah, we have to find that time to just kind of sit back and regenerate and refocus so we can clear our minds. We have a couple comments
Yeah,
coming in.
Julie said, be still and know who you are. Step forward. That's real big, Julie.
Yeah,
Yeah, you gotta be, and the only way to know who you are is to be still. The weird thing about it is if you're not still, check this out. Everything is a stimuli, everything is an impulse, everything. And so you're looking at this, you're measuring that, you're modeling this. It's only when you become still to when you can really self-actualize to your truest, optimize yourself to the truest potentiality. Only through stillness. Only.
only through stillness. Yeah, even for me, like, and this might seem weird, but if I'm on a busy day, the only time I might have time to myself is like going to the restroom. But even in those little nuggets, it's like I get in that moment, I can get a nugget that just changes everything. I have a
Yeah.
moment to think, and it's like, that's the idea, that's it. Oh, and I go back,
The breath of
take
aha.
a second.
The aha breath. Uh-huh.
Aha
Yep.
breath. Yeah, you
Yep.
need a moment to just take it, and you're not thinking. When I go to the restroom, I'm not thinking about bills or anything else. I'm in that moment, like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and it gives me a chance because I turned off all the other lights.
Oh my
Now that
goodness.
one light is a lot brighter, and we have to
Man,
turn those lights off, man.
here's something to remember, and this will always helps me remember. So this will help everyone remember. You'll never forget how important the present is. Because of this, you'll never forget. So the present is our gift. The present is our gift.
It's our gift.
And the reason we know that's the truth because present means gift. If you type present in your phone, you'll get the gift. And if you type gift in your phone, you'll get the gift. The exact same
Yeah,
one, the
that's it.
exact same color. The present is a gift. So the way you open it up is to live now. That's how you open the gift. Come on now. You can't forget it now. You can't.
You got to live now.
You got
Yeah.
to. It's the gift. Open it up.
We're so busy. We're so busy, like, let's call it grinding, right? Because either you're in a planning phase, you're in an implementation phase, you're in a, taking what you've gained, your harvest phase, and now trying to multiply that. There's always this cycle that doesn't seem to end. And I know I've been in a place where sleep was just a problem. I didn't like it. It was in my way. Eating was a chore. I'm like, I don't have time to do that. I wish I could just get it in my body. Taking time away from my focus was so intense on these things. But if I'm neglecting sleep, if I'm neglecting eating, I'm probably neglecting a lot of other things in my life.
Mm.
And
Yep.
to what benefit did I have by pursuing this thing so tenaciously, and yet losing out on these other things? Years I couldn't get back, activities I couldn't replay again, and probably conditioning my body in a certain way that wasn't healthy. That won't I can't bring that back.
Mm.
So we can get into those spaces, and I've learned through that there's nothing more important than having to kind of slow things down, to take it a little bit slower, to allow for that breath in between each step, so that you can see things much more clearly.
Mm.
Nothing's going to go anywhere. It's not going to go anywhere. If it's for you, it's going to be there for you. You're going to achieve it. If you're
Mm.
focused on it, you're
Yep.
going to do well. But it doesn't have to be the total consumption of your focus. It can occupy a space, just like in your room. You have a room for a couch, and it might be the largest piece of furniture in your home.
Yeah.
Your activities for your job or whatever that is could be the largest piece of furniture, but make room for the chair, the rug, the lamp, the TV, these other things that all participate together, have a form and function, and together make the space beautiful. This is what makes your life beautiful. All these
Yep.
little things coming together,
Together.
not one thing having exclusivity.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. That's right. See? See? The gift is the present. It's
Yes,
true.
the sweetest word for gift is present. Thank you for sharing that.
Look at this wonderful woman.
Doing some work.
Look at her. It's my wonderful woman there.
So yes, let's check and see if we got any other questions that we had built up here. These are questions that folks just kind of over time. Again, we've done these things for a while, building businesses and things, and doing activities, not just business, but helping folks to grow, personal, mental, spiritual development, emotional reconstruction. These things have been on myself and Rob House's table for quite a while, and these are kind of questions that folks usually come up with first. The difficulties that we find that are causing hurdles, and giving them difficulties, the pains of growing and developing. So let's look at some more here. We have oh, this is good. How do you stay productive when things get mentally tough? How do you stay
Woo! And I think everybody's trying to find a way. I think 2020 has posed this question to everybody on the planet. Everyone, every single person has to
productive?
figure out something different. How do you stay productive when things get mentally tough? And it got mentally tough, and I'm sure whether you're in it now or you're out, it's coming back. We're always going through it. We're in it. We're getting out of it, or we're getting ready to go into it. It's like it's happening. So what do you do? I think it's back to what we're talking about in the beginning. Just first of all, staying focused, and being still. You
Mhm.
get the mental toughness by the stillness that you've created, right? And now with the ability to focus, your focus is like a flashlight. And just imagine your flashlight in a dark room. Whatever you put your flashlight on is what your attention is on. Your energy is going to expand on. So if you can create stillness, then you can create that stillness in your body. And then you put your focus where you want it. Let's say on love, compassion, gratitude, changing the world, loving your wife, your children's birthday party, whatever it is that makes you happy. You go from stillness to happy, stillness to gratitude, stillness to something that's moving you up and forward.
Yeah.
And this is how you do it. It's not, oh, things are tough. Oh, I'm going to break through it. As a matter of fact, whatever you resist will persist. So don't try to do it that way. You have to have a model that's built. And the model starts with stillness. People are afraid to be by themselves. Like it's
Yeah.
interesting. It's easier for them to be with other people or to Netflix out or whatever it may be, but just to sit still, whoa, it's like whoa, it's crazy. But I'm telling you, you love you. Actually, you just don't know it yet. And if you spend a little time, you'll find out how much you really love you.
Yeah, that I want to bring that back up. That question again. Um, how do you stay productive when things get mentally tough? You know, it doesn't have to be so much about your own productivity. Uh, the other day, I'm driving and just random thoughts come into my head. There was this old, I'm gonna date myself here. The old Tupac lyric, but he said, "Last night, my buddy lost his whole family. It's going to take the man in me to conquer his insanity." And you think about that, like if your friend had lost their whole family, say COVID or anything, car accident or whatever, and we've had a couple of tragedies happen lately, and I think that's why that came to my memory, because we had some people that had passed away suddenly. Um, how do you help them cope with that, right? How do you persevere when that's a mentally tough situation for them and for you to
Yeah.
have that burden on there? And just to kind of share, somebody we know lost their mother in a car accident. They got killed instantly just a couple of days ago,
Hmm.
and their baby was in the car, their 1 year old. So they lost their mother and their child at one time. So to try to offer comfort, support, when there really isn't any comfort right now. It's
Hmm.
just a matter of processing. It's a
Yeah.
matter of
Yeah.
going through the days until
Yep.
you start to see some normality, because right now that whole ship is wrecked. Breakfast doesn't matter, lunch doesn't matter,
Right.
sleep doesn't matter. None of this stuff matters. It's just why, how,
Yep.
these questions that there is no answer to. And so, what do you do in that space where, how do you stay productive? How do you keep that person productive? Because in building anything, you're going to have to build it together with somebody,
Yeah.
whatever you're doing. It's a family, it's a business, whatever. So think about it along those terms. When you keep your team together, your family, whatever it is, how do you persevere in those situations? Do
Yeah.
you have any feedback on that, Rob?
Yeah, man. One day. I mean, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. It's the same thing. And like you said, you're not gonna rush through it. You're not gonna try and fake it till you make it. It's a process. And going through it, but at the same time realizing that this is big. Always realizing and understanding that you are not your thoughts. Understanding and knowing that you are not your thoughts, this allows your thoughts to run you ragged. And this is big because you're going to go through things, but you don't need to have your thoughts dragging you around like you hold on to the back of a horse tail. You know what I mean? And that's what happens. So acceptance, stillness, focus,
Focus.
and try to keep love. Try to keep love at the center of what you're doing. Somebody asked me, well, if what's the real simple recipe to life if you could come up with one? Because there is no one, but just come up
Yeah.
with one. And I said, love yourself and love other people. Love yourself. That's a big challenge. Love yourself. No matter what's going on, love yourself. And then love other people, and that'll make things happen good. But going back to how you get to this problem, loving yourself. Loving yourself enough to understand you're going through this process and it too shall pass.
You know, um, when I think about some of the things that I've been going through,
I'm
uh,
sorry, man.
uh,
I'm sorry. Um, Thank you, Malcolm and Nicole. Appreciate you. I didn't see him over there.
oh yeah, yeah, in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
Nancy. Hey, Nancy.
Don't eat the elephant. Yeah. Um. So thinking about that though, about overcoming. How do you stay productive when it's mentally tough? A lot of us know about being exhausted. No, a lot of us know about going beyond what we think we can go, pushing because life is hard. There's a lot of folks out there struggling in their communities, tragic hitting, whether it's COVID or some kind of storm. We see a lot of storms happening in the south of the United States right now. They've been tornadoes and things, and it's you might see these videos and these feeds come in where it's a single mom with 3 kids and she's barely making it month to month. Probably paying rent late just trying to get by, getting minimum wage, and now her house is destroyed in a tornado. She doesn't have the money for a new deposit and the first month's rent to move, and she doesn't have money to refurnish her home and all these other things. I know this tragedy happened to somebody in my family some while ago. House burned down in a fire and they lost everything. And it took a long time to recover and to rebuild. And when it gets that tough, like you said, all you could do is take it one day at a time. But you also have to say, I have to shift my focus not on my problems, but I need to shift my focus on, listen, 10 years ago, this wasn't my issue. 5 years ago, this wasn't my issue. So
Yep.
guess what? A year from now, this won't be my issue.
Yep.
5 years from now, it won't be my issue. This is just for this moment in time. This will too pass.
That's good.
I've had situations where my life was at on the line. I might not have had another day to exist, but I knew that there was more for me. I said, wait, this is not how my story works. I actually, you couldn't convince me otherwise. I believed it so hard, not that I had to force it. It just, I knew it in my knower, as Jesse might say. I know it in my knower, like there's more for me to do. I have something else to go on beyond this. So I'm not going to worry about this. I'm just going to keep it moving.
Right.
And it shifted my whole focus. My energy shifted. And once I did that, once I really kind of got grounded in that, it was like propelled me forward, and things started to open up and happen. And so while we might have tragedy, while we might have difficulties, while we might think that we're, you know, just one more year and I'll get that promotion, or when I finish this education and I get my certificate there, it'll open up new doors. It might not always happen that way. And so we have to have a bigger, greater focus.
Yeah.
And for some, that might be families. For some, that might be, taking care of those around you. It could be like, saying inside your community. A lot of folks are very much community focused. Some folks, it's their religious beliefs, and this takes them so much, consumes them so much that they're able to say, this is greater than myself. We have to find a connection to something bigger than this moment.
Yep.
Bigger than ourselves.
I got to. Malcolm says stillness has been monumental in how I've been able to finally write my mission statement. That's huge. Since I wrote it, things have been falling into place. That's big, man. Stillness was a catalyst for him to have the clarity to be able to write his mission statement. We were just talking about this. Remember the 60 to 70,000 thoughts with our 60 to 70,000 cars on the mind?
Yeah.
Cleared his mind. He was able to then see his purpose and articulate it, and now he can live it. Man, that's real talk. It's good stuff.
That is good stuff. Thank you for sharing. And I missed this comment here. I popped it up, but you says you guys have been involved with so many endeavors. How do you decide which is the right one? And so, well, that's a tough question. Thank you for sharing that. For me, I had done so many different things that it was kind of like throwing darts on the dartboard, right? And just seeing the bullseye. I was trying a lot of things. I knew I was capable. I was fearless. I had an issue with never really losing. If I tried to do something, I usually succeeded. That was kind of a backfiring, though, because I knew that I could do mostly anything. That I pursued so many things, and I never really got anything to be at the core and foundation for me. But what happened was, over time, I found how much meaning is in this thing that I'm doing. It makes money. Okay, maybe it's giving me some sort of a social thing, a status or something, but how much real true meaning is in that? How really satisfied am I with that? The reason I kept jumping from thing to thing was because nothing really satisfied me, because there wasn't any meaning into the core. And so I had to first dig deep and see who I was. Like, who am I? What is it that makes me really kind of excited in the day when I wake up? What is the thing that kind of says I'm connected to this? If you take it from me, something of me is going to die. And once I could discover that, for some it might be music, it could be art, it could be teaching, it could be anything. But once you discover that thing, then it's really a no-brainer, because what you're doing is you're coming into harmony with, some people call it your destiny or what you were meant to be. I don't know if there's a thing of like, here's what I'm meant to be. I think that there are things that just kind of go along with you so much better than other things. I speak English. You try to get me to speak Spanish. I took a little bit in school, but it's not going to be fluent, but I have it, right? Yeah. But it's not my native tongue. So the thing that's native to you, the thing that just is organic inside of you, comes out naturally. Singing maybe around the house all the time, that might be a thing for you. But find that thing, and it will open up all these other doors for you, and it won't be a chore. Yeah,
and it's okay. And it's okay if doors are opening and there are multiple doors. And, that question, like some people think because they're doing multiple things that there's something wrong with that. It's okay if you're having different ideas and you're evolving, because what happens is over time you build these different utilities.
Yeah.
and they become skill sets that you can converge sometimes to have an even more unique skill set. I was a personal trainer, health coach, life coach, teacher, a pastor for 10 years. I studied psychology, neuroscience, child psychology, musical theater, dropped a couple of albums. So I've done a whole lot of different things. I studied quantum physics for a couple of years now. Love that, quantum science. And now I'm getting into quantum computing because I know that's getting ready to blow up. I'm interested in this Bitcoin stuff too. Want to learn about that. So it's like the mind, go out there and explore, right? Absorb, and then put your best foot forward after you've been still and focused and moved. So yeah, I think it's cool. I think
Yeah,
that's
you got to explore. You got to explore. It's kind of like how you let your children, they go outside and play and they make up new games and things, and that's all about the learning process. And we do the same thing. We go out and say, I'm gonna try this job, try that job, and try this new experience. And just like you, man, that's the key. Never stop learning. Never stop changing who you are by growing it. And let's pop that up here. This is one of my little things here. I love it. Renew your mind daily. Learn something new each day and practice today what you've learned yesterday. So learn something, anything. If it's just a new math problem, learn that one thing, and then tomorrow say, hey, let me practice that thing I learned yesterday.
80%
Learn a new word, and then use it tomorrow. Don't use it all today. Use it tomorrow so it comes back in your memory. Your brain will say, oh, that's a thing we had to remember, and it's easier to remember because you used it again.
80%, man.
Yeah.
You get an 80% chance.
You froze, bro. Are you there?
Huh?
Yep.
Oh,
You're
we got the
freezing.
technical tornado
Technical
back
tornado.
back in
How about
Kansas.
that?
Dorothy, are you out there?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
There he is. All right.
Yeah. So you're on it, man. You're on it.
All right. So at this point, we're gonna take a quick little break. It's just like 15, 30 seconds so we can take a breath. When we come back though, we want to answer some more questions and get some more feedback from you guys. We're gonna shift gears just a little bit. And so we talked about some issues and some things about overcoming the pains of growth. And now we're going to try to infuse this with some positivity, some things that actually can be helpful to you in your day to day. You can take home with you and write them down. So get a pen and paper when we come back. You want to write these things down and keep notes. But we'll be right back after this quick, short, very short, super short break.
Short and short.
Short and short. Yeah, that was smooth, man. This thing is smooth, ain't it? It's going down.
Mindset, ready, grow. If he didn't know, you know where to go. He's the only one that can show you for sure. Lift you up when you feel so low. Comfort and warm when the world is cold. Cold is ice in the snowman's hand. Don't get no man's land. Save your soul, man. No man can.
That's it, man.
Hey.
You never know what you expect to get. You're gonna get on this show, man. Like, look, we like to have fun. Even though we're talking about some heavy hitting topics, we do like to have fun and joke. That's kind of, I want to add some of that into this segment too. Lighten the load. We kind of start off kind of hitting deep, but let's kind of lighten the load a little bit. And let's bring in some stories that might give some insight, but also have a little bit of fun with it. You got any stories you want to share?
Stories? Well, I do have a story about hope in a Chinese bamboo tree.
There you go.
A lot of people, especially now, entrepreneurship is a real sexy word, right?
Yeah.
But most people are failing because they have the wrong mindset and approach about it. And so
it's all about the money.
They think about the get quick rich, get fit, get quick, everything fit and quick. Everything got to be quick, microwave, pour water, stir, right? But what we got to do is think about this journey like the Chinese bamboo tree. And the Chinese bamboo tree is simply like this. Put the seed into the ground.
There you go.
And for 5 years, it's nurtured, it's watered. Every year, year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. It never grows. It stays on the ground. You don't see any buds, nothing. Year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, nothing. Year 5, if this seed has been nurtured, it then sprouts and bursts through the ground, growing 90 feet in 6 weeks. 90 feet in 6 weeks.
It's amazing.
And it's 1, 2, 3, strongest tree in the world.
Yeah.
Okay, so you ask yourself, did this thing grow 90 feet in 6 weeks, or was it 5 years?
5 years, right?
You see, and so what we see on the surface looks like amazing, but it's the work underneath the surface, behind closed doors. Come on, that's what counts.
That's what counts.
Mm-hmm.
Now, listen. I was building something. I was when I did the TV network. You know, I'm like, man, what's happening? What's happening? This is not moving as fast as I wanted to. You know, things are hindering and things. And I'm sitting in the car. I was waiting for my wife to get out of the store, and I'm sitting there. I'm just kind of in my thoughts, and I started seeing this vision of like a skyscraper, and then as you see the blueprint of the skyscraper, there's like they dig this huge hole. They put these pylons in the ground. They have to go really, really, really deep and really, really thick steel beams so that it can support all that's going to go up. That starts first. And the deeper you dig your foundation, the wider you build that foundation, the higher you can go up. And a lot of folks come in and they just want to put a little block and a little piece of cardboard and say, I'm about to put something on top of here. You could build a house of cards on that. It might stand, but you can't put anything of real weight, of real value that's going to stand the test of time.
Right.
You have to build a good, strong foundation. And that's what happened with that bamboo. It was doing this work under the soil. You couldn't see, but you had to know it in your mind. You had to believe that this thing has a purpose. It will fulfill that. It has a destiny. It has a time that it will arrive and manifest and mature. All I got to do is let that time pass.
That's all I got to do.
And a lot of things that we're doing in our life right now, it's just a matter of time. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. And if we can shift our focus from thinking about if,
come on,
just thinking about when I do this.
When?
Not, if I get some money today, when I get some money, I'm going to do this.
Right.
And you know what? I want to touch base on that a little bit because somebody earlier brought up money. And
big.
We got some more comments coming in. Yes, you're welcome, Thina Fells. And oh, praise. That's good.
Yeah, Thina.
Yep. And so somebody put a comment and said they needed some money, right? That's the thing that's holding them back. So I want to tell you a little bit of story about that. If I can take a moment, matter of fact, I'm a solo for a second. Can I solo for a second?
Yeah, go ahead, solo, man.
All right. So let me get my camera together. There we go. It's a new segment. I'm trying to do something different. This is a growth moment. I want to just kind of share with you guys a growth moment. So in my time, I have like he listed a lot of things he's done. He I've been had several businesses. I had my education started in real estate, and then it went to business management, marketing, and financing. And I took that information, and instead of really going into like mainstream business, corporate world, I just kind of started always doing my own things. I had my own mortgage company. I've had a media production company, a television network, these different things. They all kind of centered around business. But the one thing that I've come to find out is that it was never really about having money. It was more so about how I managed the things that I had. And I was speaking the other day with somebody. We were talking about money and how much they thought they needed for this and how much they had at the time. And I said, so, okay, let's break this down. How much do you have right now in hand? That's your first segment. So what you want to do with what's in hand is you want to make sure you deal with your past, your present, and your future. Here's what you do with your money. So the past is your debts. That's the things that you owe. You can't escape that. That's the electric bill. That's the water bill, the heat bill. And then your present is what you need right now to sustain yourself. That's, food for today, gas in your car, whatever that is right now today. And then your future is broken down into two quadrants, technically. But one is really just the savings. You should have some sort of savings to take care of things in the future. But beyond your short term, which is your savings is for your short term. And I mean that to say you might save for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and that's what you use to put down as a payment for a house. It has a purpose that you're saving with intention to use it for. Then you have a longer term future, which is your seed that you're letting grow. So you've got your harvest, you got your paycheck, or whatever it is. You break it down into 3 sections: pay my debts, take care of what I need today, and put something away for the future. Then you take a portion of that though, and that's your seed that you put into the to your longer term, your growth, and that's your investments. And that should be set aside in either something like a annuity. It should be in some sort of stocks. It could be into real estate. You can get a part of it in a real estate investment group. It can also be in these new currencies that's coming out, these bitcoins and so on and forth. But it should be in some sort of vehicle that you set it and forget it. You put the money there and it's done. This could be 401k. It could be a money market account, something of that nature. That's money that you don't have a plan to use that at all. This is for retirement, or if it ever does some kind of a boom, you retire today, right? We all want our stock to hit and we retire today. GameStop made one guy $30 million overnight. That's crazy. I wish I was in that, but we all want to have that, right? So we can retire now. But that money is for, I don't work anymore. This money takes care of me. And so this is the way you should be dividing your finances. This is the way you should be managing your things. Everything that you get, your cash, is called cash flow. It's supposed to move as it's flowing like a river. And how do we keep a river going the way we want to? What holds the river in place is the river bank. You see that right there? The bank of the river is what controls the flow of the river. Your bank controls the flow of your cash in and out and however it's supposed to navigate. We need to start thinking about our money as a flowing system. It's not for us to hoard it or try to absorb every drop. It's a utility. It's a tool. It comes in and it's to be manifested in some sort of way. And again, that a great starting place. Let me just say this: a great starting place is taking care of your past, your debts, managing your present, and putting something aside for your future, as well as part of your future being that seed that grows to another day. So that's my little growth moment. I just wanted to share that. I'm gonna bring Rod back in, let him get some feedback in there. What do you think about that?
Yeah, man. That's it. I mean, we plan for the future. It's, you those 3 things: present, future, past. Those are the ones you want to. Obviously, the present is super important. It's still in the
Yeah.
moment, but yeah, being able to have a holistic view of your whole life is big and important.
I think we sometimes get so caught up either in our past. So we're saying, I have all these debts. I can't buy this house. I can't get this car. I can't get out of this debt from behind me. That's not your future, right? Oh man, we got one for that, don't we? Where's it at? Living in the past has no future.
Mm-hmm.
We can't live in the past. We can't be stuck in our past and saying, well, I had this happen. I had this happen. As a matter of fact, I had a friend I talked to today, and they said that they got into some trouble and they had to go to jail, and they may be going back to jail. And they were worried about that because they didn't want to go back to jail. They felt like the thing that sent them to jail, they didn't do in the first place. They feel like they didn't do anything wrong. Those are things of your past. They say they have a felony now and they're just so concerned, but that does not dictate your future. I mean, Mandela was in prison for years and we know what he achieved, but there's a lot of folks that come out of prison and they turn their life around and they make good on what they have still left.
I was watching him today. I was watching Mandela's interview with Oprah Winfrey like an hour and a half ago. I was studying humility. He came up talking about it, and Oprah asked him, "How can you be in prison for decades and come out and love the people who imprison you?" He said, if I think about the hate that was done, or if I think about those things, I feel that. But you only have a certain amount of time on this earth, and I want to spend that time supporting and loving and making my country better. I was like, whoa, come on, man. Come on.
There you go.
Let's
Right.
go with it. Mandela.
It's beautiful.
I'm on your team. I'm on your team.
Switch right there, buddy. That's good stuff right there.
That's Michael Jordan.
That's good stuff. Yeah. And that's it, man. He said, I'm not going to focus on my past. My past has nothing to do with me right now or what's coming tomorrow. I have to focus on that.
That's it.
And so we just say, hey, today it's about that same process, that seed. What seed am I going to sow today that's going to equal something new tomorrow? So what? You sowed some bad seeds last year or year before, and now your crop is just this bitter fruit. We don't like bitter fruit. We don't want to eat it, but that just might be all that you have.
Mm-hmm.
But if we start with, first of all, changing where we're harvesting from, changing our scenery, changing our surrounding, you might have to go somewhere else to get a different seed. And then you start to plant that different seed. You do something different. Eventually, you're going to have different fruit.
Right.
I know because I came up in an area that wasn't the best and it wasn't the nicest and it wasn't the easiest. But over time I understood, I can continue in this life, I can continue around the same activity, and I know where that goes, and it's not where I want to go. I want to go somewhere else. And so I had to shift, I had to break away, and it was painful. This is growing pains here, because I love those people, I love my friends, I love them like, brothers and sisters. We were together close, and I had to say, I got to go, and I don't know where they are today,
Yeah.
but I still think about them because of the connection we made those years ago, how we hung out and what we went through. We went through a lot, but I had to separate because I didn't want to continue going the same path. So I had to go somewhere that I can sow in a different soil. I had to go where I could even equip and find new seed to sow different seed. And I continue to do that even now. I go, man, thankfully I've been blessed to be able to move different cities and states and meet new people.
Yeah.
And those people have been able to nurture and enrich my life. Like Rob House, I met him just about it's like 7-8 years ago or something, right?
Yep. Can't fit.
Yeah. And man, we've connected and just been able to enrich each other's life. But he's in a whole nother state from where I ever grew up or lived or anything. But it was lucky and fortunate for me that I was able to do those travels, and so see that different area, see that different seed, and sow that different crop. So true, Rob, what you said about what we are leaving behind and living for. Can you guys talk about connecting with people to partner with in the business ventures? Oh, absolutely. That's a great question. Go ahead, Rob. I'll let you start that.
What was the question?
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
So, yep. So, can you guys talk about connecting with people to partner with in business? So, yeah, that's big. And so, what I realized is that real partnerships, like, probably takes about a year for you to really see the true colors of the person that you're in business with. So if you don't know them at all, and you guys kind of just meeting, I would slow roll any partnerships. They take about a year because people transform. We got a 3-month period. It's like, yes, they're not the same person. It's interesting. And I've been watching this like a social scientist, different people, and literally they begin to, like it's an onion peel. They begin to unravel 3-4 months in, then the real personality comes out, because you can only suppress the real you for so long. Pieces of it start to come out. I'm saying this because it's super important. Also, it's important when going into business ventures that you don't have like-mindedness. That's not necessary all the time. Like, I might be, as long as our purpose is aligned. We come from different backgrounds. Our minds are going to be different. We're not going to be like, but if our purposes are aligned, we just need purposeful alignment. And with the internet and our ability to connect.
Yeah.
Well, one of the big, can you hear me now?
Yeah, Netflix got you, buddy. Somebody streaming in the background.
Well, one of the biggest things I learned was just to take it extremely slow and to remove my expectations. We got our standards, but remove the expectations. And then, yeah.
I would add this too. In my experience of getting with partnerships, touching a little bit what you said, you start off and you have a team that they all seem excited. And it's maybe because it's something new or because you've done a great job at selling your idea, the passion you have, you've been able to transfer that to them. But sometimes it's challenging to continue that energy over time because people want an instant result. They might catch on what you're doing and say, this is great. It depends on what they want out of it. They might see it as a meal ticket and it's going to change their life too. But I've had groups that I know of that have worked 7-8 years on a project and it still hasn't come to fruition, but they're dedicated to each other. That's their first and foremost thing. So they were already like family, or they were already like, brothers and sisters. And they just said, let's do this thing too. But we love each other regardless of what happens. And so we're willing to make the sacrifices we need to, because I know how much you care about this thing. And so I don't want to let you down. If you can find partnerships like that, you got to be very selective, depending on the project that is. But you want to be selective on who you choose, because when they start to drop off, it could demoralize you. And you say, is this really something I should do? And you already got your own battles to fight. You can say, maybe I should give up too. But the truth of it is that there's a I think it's a proverb or something that says, if they were for you, then they would still be with you. They would have remained. But the fact that they left means that they were never for you, right? And I'm not saying that's like a true against the board, but just a thought to have, to say, you know what, they left. So whenever that time came for them to leave, maybe 2 days ago, it became that they weren't no longer for us. And that's okay, when that shift happened. So that's why they had to go. because something disconnected. So they weren't really the team that we thought they were. They weren't really participating like their heart wasn't in it anymore. And thankfully that has come to light. So you can let them go and let something else fill that space that won't be dead weight dragging it around or whatever. So I would say that too, just to add in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
And I want to say one more thing too about that. In your partnerships, um, think about too, what is it that you're presenting as the offer? Because a lot of times we start some business or company and we do oversell it. We do over flash it and say, this is going to be this, it's going to be that. And whatever that is, the people, it's going to ring in their ears and they're going to say, okay, this is what you told me. I'm expecting it to happen. But if you kind of come at them and say, listen, I have this idea. What do you think about the idea, first of all? Okay, well, that's great. Thank you for sharing that. We'll talk about it later. If they keep coming to you and say, hey, that's a really great idea, man. What are you going to do with that? You see the passion stirring in them. You see the gift rising up inside of them. Well, that might be a sign that this might be a great person to work with. And not because of they're going to add money to what I need. They're going to help support it through that, or they're going to bring in some technical skill, but just because they have a lot of passion. It might be grandma. She has no ability, no nothing, but she just believes in it so much that she's going to be your cheerleader when things get rough. She's going to be the one that's going to come in and say, I believe in it so much when you're tired and sleeping and the rest of the team says maybe we should quit. They're like, are you kidding me? This is the best thing ever. I've never seen anything like it. You need that morale boost. We all need a cheerleader on the team. And so I would say circle around that first. And then my second tier would be finding somebody who's constantly against you. And you might say, why would I want somebody who's constantly against me? Well, because you want somebody who's going to tell you no often. Because they're your safeguard. They're your safety net. They're the one that's going to keep challenging you and sharpening you so you see things that you might be missing. They're going to be the ones that's going to prevent you from making a big mistake. And you go all in and they say, hey, we should only went half in. And I learned that from people who partner with me and times when I partner with other folks. And you be the one to say, I told them they shouldn't have done that. Look at this thing happen like I said it would. Don't be that guy, but it's good to have those folks around because they do have some sort of insight. If everybody always agrees with you, you're gonna crash, you're gonna shipwreck. So that's another insight I would say.
Yeah, man. John Maxwell, for Malcolm's question, any books? John Maxwell's 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. That is one of the dopest books out there. It's really, really amazing. I like the law of the lid, and that's basically how wide you can expand your perspective and mindset as a leader. How much can you expand? And that will show you that your capacity that will expand your mindset, and how wide you can expand your perspective will expand your capacity as a leader. And so that's big to make sure you put those right books into your brain. I wrote a book called Purpose Search about 6 years ago. It's on Amazon 7 years ago, called Purpose Search. That's a good book too. I'm not just saying it because it's my book. I'm saying it because I found my purpose, and then I said, let me write down what I did. And so I found these 4 keys: my gifts, my talents, my resources, and my passion. And those 4 things, those are 4 keys that help me unlock, my purpose. So I would recommend that. And the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership.
I remember this book. I read it some time ago, but it was like the one that kind of changed my life. Let me find it real quick.
Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek. That's a good book. Really, really good book. Talking about mindset. We got Carol Dweck's growth mindset, and that's really expanded upon thinking and broadening the perspective and not thinking outside the box, thinking without the box type of thing. That's a good one as well.
Yeah. So the author is Napoleon Hill. He has Think and Grow Rich in these other books, but there was one that he had, and
the 16 basically the book you're talking about is the first book he wrote, and then he distilled down into Think and Grow Rich. It was the 16 principles, 16 laws.
So he has some great ones. He has success through positive, or PMA, positive mental attitude. And that's really good. It talks about having a positive mental attitude and a negative mental attitude, and it kind of shares some things. It's more so storytelling through teaching through storytelling, But the one I'm talking about is called something. I think it's called Outwitting the Devil or something about the devil. But
That
what?
was a really good one.
Yeah, and what it is, it's like it kind of really was like him challenging things, and in his mind, it was really when I read the book at a time where I was kind of between what was I going to do with my career, my businesses, and it just kind of, I don't know, it just kind of pushed me over the edge to just say, I'm going to do these things, and I had it helped to sharpen my mind together. But Napoleon Hill, just search him out. All of his books pretty much are really good,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know what level you're at as far as your development of your business and things like that, but one of the early books obviously is your Rich Dad Poor Dad series stuff. But those things are kind of really basic just to kind of get you in the mind state of showing about separating things into quadrants from being self-employed or having a working as an employee and things like that. I like books that illustrate, and I like books that tell me stories. If I can visualize it, because especially nowadays, I think we all like to watch movies and TV shows and things, so we have a visual um, uh, concept of the way we ingest information and data. And so, if you can tell me a story and show me that in a picture that I can see it for myself and just insert myself into that image, it makes it easier for me to digest it and to believe that I can do those things as well. Speaking of Napoleon Hill, just a quick little bit of him. He was poor, and he was poor for a long time, and one thing he did was every time he got told no, he said, I hear that no, but in my mind I'm receiving a yes. I hear your no, but in my mind I'm receiving a yes. And it was just a matter of saying what's the thing that's making the no kind of evident now. What's the thing that's how can I say this? What's the thing that's painting us the color of no? All you gotta do is remove that color. The yes is there, it's underlying. Like we start with white paper and we paint over it red and blue. The white is still always there. How do we take the red off? How do we take the blue off to get back to that white? And so whenever you're doing whatever it is you're doing, your business, your family, or whatever, say here's an obstacle, but the thing that I need, the truth is still there. It's had to start with that.
Yeah.
Otherwise it wouldn't exist for me.
Mm-hmm.
I have a house, I have a car, I have all these things because the truth was that I needed transportation, I needed protection from the elements and rain and shelter. So that's the truth. Now these things exist because of that truth. So if you find that truth of whatever it is you're trying to do, if it's partner with this person or whatever, and it might not be so much a partnership, it might just be getting that information. Information is great. I'd rather get information and learn and grow than really maybe take 10 years of your life to be my partner and we don't really go anywhere. Give me 2 minutes and help me grow in that 2 minutes. And you have a great life and I have a great life and we didn't waste each other's time for 10 years, So think about that too. But anyways, we got that one. Yep. So we're almost wrapped up for today's show, but I wanted to go through one last segment. You still got time for that, Rob?
Yeah, what we're looking at.
All right. So what we wanted to do was, as we talked about some business ventures and things that's going on, one thing that I want to make sure that people watching really get a hold of is this. I believe, this is my own theory and beliefs, but I believe that we are in a powerful economic shift. And there was a time where back in the 20s when we started the Federal Reserve and things like that, the average Joe was just working. He was in a factory. He was trying to make steel and things, and they were just trying to get by. We had World War One and all these things that people were trying to overcome, and the Great Depression and all these things that people were dealing with in life. And they couldn't drink because of prohibition, right? So they couldn't drink either to drown their sorrows, and they're just faced with, oh, woe is me, my troubles, my drama, my troubles. And they were distracted by all those things that was going on. Well, today we're distracted by COVID and am I out of work and am I going to get my stimulus and all these other things that just kind of get you in a place where all you can think about is those things. But what's happening on the other side of things is this huge economic shift. First of all these tech companies and startups are just popping up, boom, 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 everywhere. But a lot of them are exploding because we need those things. And one service that pops up says, now I need 10 more services to sustain that. And just because we see that AI is existing and is jumping out, well, there's not enough AI systems out there because just a quick sidestep, how that works is an AI is a system that you have to train like you train a dog or like you train a child how to speak English and how to walk and these things. It takes time. So if I build one particular AI that says this AI is going to work for understanding what shows you like on Netflix, it's only going to take data and it's going to keep rehearsing that same data as you pick a movie to say, this is what you want. Let me project this on the screen for you. And I'm going to make guesses at what's best for you. but it's only trained in an area. The AI is not going to know what your shopping list should be, or it's not going to go find the best price for gas for you. That's a different AI system. So when somebody builds a company, we need to build an AI around that or whatever it may be. And that's why there's so many different tech companies coming up. But here's what I want to say about that. So as these companies are popping up, back in the 20s, what was popping up was this was the industrial age, the industrial revolution. We had Henry Ford and these guys throwing up these companies that were saying, let's take steel, rebend it and manufacture it into cars, into buildings, into all these things. And so steel went up, the prices still went up, and people who invested in that, which obviously was the people who was using steel, like Henry Ford and stuff, they would go in and invest in steel. Steel prices was going up because they're using it. They made a profit on it going up in the stock market, took the profit, put it back into their company so they can build more cars, which made the use of steel go, they needed more steel. So it was a cycle. It made millions, billions, crazy amounts of money.
Mm-hmm.
We're in that cycle now because of all these tech companies that's popping up. Well, they need those, you need that stuff to be built, processed, manufacturing of electronics and so on and forth. So that's going to shift the stock markets. They're shifting now because of that. The second thing was that our money kind of shifted over, and we got the Federal Reserve and a lot of the like savings and loans and these different types of banking institutions started to get shut down or bought out by a big bank, Chase Manhattan and these guys, J.P. Morgan. So they started buying up these banks. At the same time, they were doing the same thing with manipulating the stock market. Here in America and in the Rothschilds and stuff over in Europe were manipulating the stock markets and banking markets so they can make all this money. They bought the markets out and they centralized banking. The same shift is happening right now. It's moving to these cryptocurrencies. People are looking at like this is a fast, the next thing is whatever. This is like Google back in early 2000. This is like, hey, I remember somebody sending it to me, hey, get this Gmail, it's cool. And I was like, oh, I was using Yahoo. Like, oh, Gmail looks kind of cool. I'll switch to Gmail. That was all I knew about it. And then they're starting to have a search engine like, oh, wow, you can search things up. And back then it was Ask Jeeves, the butler. Remember that? So it was really kind of archaic and primitive.
Yeah.
And Google kind of made it simple and refined that. And then because of those two platforms, though, they took off and now their stock is crazy. And I think they're like number 3 or something. Apple's number 1, the most profitable company in America. But anyways, to say these coins and this currency is the same thing. It's the next volume. It's not a fad. It's going to blow up. It's going to become stable like Google, but it's going to also replace the currency. And it's already happening. No, people don't really carry cash much anymore. They're doing debit card transactions and stuff. Now everybody's allowing you to buy stuff with Bitcoins. A lot of banks are saying you log into your bank right now, it's going to say buy Bitcoin, move money with Bitcoin. They're implementing the system. What's going to happen though here shortly is there's going to be some kind of breakdown somewhere. They have to have the breakdown so they can implement the governance. But once they implement the governance, it's too late. You already missed the boat to get in and make it to where you have a nice piece of the pie. Bitcoin right now is $50,000. Last year, this time it was about 9,000. Actually went down at 3,000 at one point, but it stayed for 9 for a while around this time all the way through until about June. But even getting a piece of that Bitcoin is valuable because there's no more Bitcoins. Like there's only a certain amount of Bitcoins issued. So once everybody has the Bitcoin or a partial of the Bitcoin, that's why there's mining going on to draw the Bitcoin out. But we're almost to the cap. So once we hit the cap, now all that can happen to it is it's the law of supply and demand. Once the supply is there, the demand is going to go up. And so it's going to keep going up and up and up and up in value. And this is my theory, but I believe that Bitcoin is going to be used as like the big boy money. So when these billionaires, they want to send over $100 million, they'll just send a Bitcoin or two. They're not going to keep playing around with Ethereum or Cardano or these little smaller coins. They're going to send those Bitcoins because they're going to have that type of value. Where these lower coins, they have depreciation, they die off, and that's going to be a way that they can circulate them back. But I say all this to say this. So all you people watching and viewing, I want to show you guys how to start up your own, how to get set up with a cryptocurrency, a service that will allow you to purchase those things. And I encourage all of you that's watching this today, tomorrow, on the recast or whatever, to go in and to set yourself up with some kind of purchasing of some coins and start buying some coins. Even if you say, I'm going to take $10 out of every check and buy some coins with it, because some of those are going to fluctuate to the top. And maybe in future shows, we'll continue to share some of the coins that we're trading and some of the things we're looking at to give you guys insight and feedback on which direction to go. And that's kind of what we want to do too, is, we have a lot of insight and expertise and knowledge of going through these things in life, but we also have expertise in like how to do these things. Rob's got this great company he's starting right now, or he has started. it's going to change the world. And maybe next show he'll share more about that. And when he releases as an IPO, you guys are going to want to get in because it's going to take off and make everybody a lot of money. But today I want to share with you guys how to set up your own cryptocurrency to set up with a broker to buy cryptocurrency. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to get that set up. And when we come back, we're going to show you guys if you want to stay tuned and get a first concept of that. So stay with us. Don't go anywhere. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use a service called Coinbase. Some of you guys may have already heard of it. The reason I like Coinbase, there's some other ones out there, but Coinbase right now is doing a thing where if you buy coins, certain coins, they're giving you actual interest on the coin. So you're going to earn money as the coin increases in value, but then you're going to also earn interest on whatever that value is. So if you have $100 in there and they're giving 6%, you're going to earn 6%. And then that $100 grows up to 150. Well, now you're going to get 6% on $150 as the coin continues to increase. So I think that's a great way to start. And so if you can, Rob's going to share his screen with us because he hasn't set up with Coinbase. I'm already set up with Coinbase. And just go to a browser and open coinbase.com. And then in fact, did I send you that link? Let me share this link. Okay. All right, I sent you a link. Did you get that?
Yep.
All right. So log into go to Coinbase, and then we're gonna share your screen so folks can see just how that looks. And then I'm going to share this in the comments, folks. And if you guys want to try to sign up as well, you guys can sign up and follow along with us and start your account. All right. And then when you're there, share your screen. Choose just that one browser, the browser tab.
You see it?
Yep. All right. So just like that, guys, you'll type in your first and last name.
Where at?
First and last name. Okay. And an email. Yep, you got an email there and password. I did that so you can type in your information. So you go to coinbase.com or click that link I sent in there, and then you'll type it in, and then you'll say create an account. I certify that I'm 18 years of age. And then you have to verify your email. So just go to that email that you signed up with and do the verification. This whole thing should take about 5 to 7 minutes. I had to walk my mom through this a couple days ago. She's not too tech savvy. And so what I did was I just did a Google Meet with her and had her share her screen so I can see what she was doing and walked her through the steps, and she managed to do it. You know, she's 60 something. I ain't gonna say how much, 60 something. She would say she's 40 something.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and verify. I bet that's what I'm gonna be saying too. I'm gonna live about I saw, I saw 127. Just that's what I saw.
All right. So did you see the verification link?
Yeah, I'm in my Gmail now.
Okay. If you guys are following along, send me a comment and say, hey, I'm following along with you. We're going to do this too. And if you guys check in again, like I said, every week, we'll try to leave some tips or something about trading, about getting some of the coins that we're looking at, why we're buying them. And, where we are as a level of trading, we have a large group of folks that are multimillionaires that are telling us what they're buying into, which is great because when we know they're buying into it, that type of volume increases the value. So we'll definitely spread that over to you guys and say, hey, we got guys that are putting 20-30 million dollars on this. Put your money in there. It's going to go up to this weekend. So, keep watching and stay plugged in. Like us, subscribe to us on YouTube, subscribe and like us on Facebook. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch right now. And next week we'll also be available on Roku. If you have a Roku box, you can watch on Roku. Sit there comfortably on your couch.
I don't know why I didn't come. Spelled the doggone joint wrong. That's why. Dang, man. Why didn't let me do that? Yeah. Try this again. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, man. I got we don't got that good internet around here, man. We're like the last ones. See, we're operating at a speed of slower than slow,
Mm,
as you can see here.
I've gotten used to a gig, and I don't like anything less. But I'm a pretty techie person. Everything in the house is like connected and stuff. So where we at? All right.
Okay. Not sure what's going on here. Try this again. On Zoom. I'm on live. Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Let's see here. You know what that's about, man? See that? Let's see. Try it again. Mhm.
Sounds good, Malcolm. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, I'm having a hang up right here, dude. Crazy. Hold on here.
It's not called the internet. It doesn't. It's all the walls and the barriers.
Yeah, dude. Wow. That is. You see it frozen here. I don't know. I'm sure, man. Crazy.
Thank you, Leela, for watching, and thanks to Malcolm for inviting you. So we're trying to make sure that everybody can have a chance to try to sign up with a way of buying coins. And next week, I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about it.
Probably should open up with it. Open up with
Yeah.
it. You know what I'm saying? And go through it.
Okay, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's we'll just wait until next week. You'll save your account
You know,
because our hour is up. And folks, just join us next week, and we'll post this stuff again. We'll send the links out, and you can watch us. And we'll go ahead. We'll set it up, and then let's do this. Why don't we set it up, and then we'll go ahead and in the segment 2, we'll talk about some of the coins and why they are and what they are and how we invest. And then we'll also be ready to take some questions as well. So, guys, thanks for watching. Anybody have any questions before we go? Anything that they wanted to comment about today's show before we go?
yeah.
Anything? Nobody? No, nothing.
What's up, Tennille? Thank you
Okay.
guys
All
for watching.
right.
Isla. Oh, congratulations, lovebirds. That's so awesome too. Beyonce, man, it's awesome. Love it. Love it.
Yeah, just again about Coinbase too. They're doing a thing where they're giving you interest on the coins, and they have a lot of ways for you to kind of go through training with them, and they reward you with coins. Not a lot, like $5, but you keep doing that. You might have earned $100 free coins. I had somebody who said, I don't have money right now to just put in the coins. We'll just take their training. You'll end up getting 20, 30, $50 worth of coins, and that's the start. It's something, and if that coin shifts over time, again, we want to make sure that you guys understand too that investment should be something that it's not you're looking for a short term on it. It's money that's setting you up to retire or for retirement. And that's what's happening. When you get to an age to retire, this money is there for you. Or if it does hit and explodes tomorrow, you're probably going to want to retire off of 30, 40, 50 million that you get. So think about it in that way. It's not a get rich quick. It's just I'm setting this aside so it can grow and manifest into something else. But
Stuff.
Rob, you have anything you want to share before we go?
No, man, that's good, man. I think we gave the people a lot to eat on.
To eat on. Absolutely.
I'll leave with those simple words, man. Love yourself and love other people. This is the simple formula for humanity, for us to be all that we were created to be. Love ourselves and love other people. If this is the practice, if this is the focus, and you're loving yourself and you're looking to become your best self, and then you're also love in action is actually empathy. That's what emotional intelligence is. Love in action is gratitude and compassion. So when you're loving yourself and loving others, and you do that consistently, good gracious, man, we got something. We got something.
You got something. And I just want to say, remember this: living in the past has no future. We have to learn to get past our past so that we can start to build our future. And I also want to make sure that I remind you folks to renew your mind daily, learn something new each day, and practice today what you've learned yesterday. Every day you get into a new day, practice what you learned the day before. Take time out to learn something new, a word, something new, and share that with others as well. So we thank you all for joining us. We will be back, same bat time, same bat channel. And we thank you again. We got to wrap it up. It's time to go. I see they saying, let's go. Time's up. So we appreciate you guys all for watching. Make sure next week you tell a friend, and we'll see you guys all then. Take care.
Hey, bye bye. Till next.